And welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today I'm having a look at the coffee pot challenge. I'm pulling 3 cards out of the tin and seeing what I can make with them because I really need some inspiration today. I have been delving into my vintage ephemera and it's like a rabbit warren. I am struggling to get my head out of all the things. So I just thought this might focus me in on a little craft project so I can, I can think about prompts for today. A brad or a split pin, yarn, oh, and a button. Oh gosh, okay. Brads and buttons and yarns, oh my. Okay, so we've got yarn, brad and buttons for the coffee pot challenge. Okay, I think I shall work in this journal because I'm very focused on this one at the moment. The Junk Journal July prompt today is blended, and yesterday, which I didn't do, was focus. Well, I sort of did do it, but I'll explain. So yesterday I was very much focused on my vintage ephemera off camera, and I will share that with you in this video. And I'm also going to make a separate video because it's so exciting that I think it warrants its own special video. So that's coming up. So let's combine everything and see where we go. So we've got blended and we've got yarn, button and brad to also factor into something here. So first things first, blended. This is a stencil that I've used here with an oxide ink, and I could blend over the top of it another colour to give that another look, which I might prefer or I might like, just so that it's easier on the eye and something I can write on. So what I would do is just line up the stencil that I used originally. There we go, and ever so slightly off centre it, just ever so slightly. And a white, I'm using this as my white makeup brush. And I'm just going to lightly go over the image and blend those two colours together. Use vintage linen here. There's a slight yellow tinge coming out here. It's not true white. Oh, there we go. So that gives you a two-toned effect there. It's very pretty. In fact, it highlights it even more. But that's quite sweet. So there we are. That's blending. That's another. Well, it's one form of blending. Blending inks together is definitely where my mind went to when I heard that that was the challenge for today. What I'm going to do is decorate the page over here, this pocket, so that when my friend comes back from her honeymoon, if we get a photograph, I'm going to put it in there. But I do want it to look nice and wedding-ish. So pretty, we want something really pretty. So that's blended, that's that bit, and now I'm going to blend together all of these projects in one, so that's a bit more blending going on. And I'm going to tell you about Betty, because I think I've had quite a lot of intrigue, and I can't tell you how interesting it's been just to have a look at the letters that I have found. Now, I've had them for a long time. I originally got the letters from a chap that was doing house clearances, and I guess they come across these things and they sell them on, don't they? And what I think has happened is there was a good substantial bundle of letters, and they've not all come from one person, but the letters that I've focused in on have come from one lady, Betty, her letters to her. And They range from the late 1930s right the way through to 1974, one I've got, which is quite recent. So I'm mindful that I have to be a bit careful because there's some characters in there in the story that may still be alive, and from data protection point of view, I'm not going to go there. But I've just realised my butterfly's going to be upside down if I do that. No, I want this one. Right, sorry, I want this one. This one. Right, I digress. So Betty's letters came to me. Now, I think that because they are the 1930s letters, I think that the 1940s letters have been removed, because 1940s letters, anything wartime, is valuable. It's collectible, valuable. And what I've ended up with is letters where some of the stamps had been taken off, like the good stamps. And, I have been left with the junk, the things that are not valuable. So that's what I've been going through. So Betty is unmarried in 1939. She's at school and she's learning. She's doing well in her exams. We know that because there were 2 cards that came through, presumably from family, congratulating her on her success. That was all lovely. That is in my journal. And then I went away and I found amongst the stash, because it is a pack of letters and it's all got muddled up by me, some of which I've even been putting in other journals, and I've put them inside envelopes. Letters that didn't even have envelopes, I was giving them vintage style envelopes that I'd made through my crafts. And then I was, oh no, I was quickly going through them thinking, is there anything in here that's from this Betty saga? Because, so I spent most of the day yesterday going through all my things, trying to find any Betty letters that I had otherwise put in other journals, going through it all. And I thought, oh gosh, I think I've sent a few off in Happy Mail. That might be a vital clue to the story of Betty. So yes, if you have ever received some vintage ephemera from me as a Happy Mail in a swap, have a little look and see if you've got anything from Betty, and if there's anything interesting, any clues, let me know. So yeah, I've got a feeling I've sent something to Claire from Purple Poppy, and I'm sure it was from Betty, but it might not have been. I doesn't matter anyway. So there we are. So I'm looking all of this up. And I'm going through all my squirreled away things, and I found another Betty letter, so we'll read that in a minute. But I just want to clear up a few things that I talked about when we were doing junk journal. We were doing junk journal black and white. So when I was doing this one, so if you want to watch the video, you need to find the one with the dogs on the front. This one, when I was doing this, all about the Scotch, you need to look up that one, because I made a few mistakes. And Helen, who has written into me as a subscriber here, has pointed me in another direction that I perhaps hadn't read at the time, because I'm trying to do 5 things while I'm making a video, aren't I? I'm thinking of what I'm saying. I'm doing a craft, obviously making the video, and trying to read at the same time. So I think I've made a couple of mistakes, which Helen has pointed out. She said, oh, could it mean this? Could it be not that, but this? Oh, that's perfect. And of course, when you are allowed the time to prompt from yesterday, focus, when you give yourself time to focus, you can, of course, see things in a different light. Just like this page, which once looked scruffy, now looks totally different, and it all blends as in the prompt today. So let's just show you this exciting thing here is Betty's. Right, so we were in 1937. We've got the King George stamp. It's 1 penny stamp, and it is the 31st of August, so she will have just finished her summer exams and got her results, and they've been sent through. And there's, she did really well. She got her English literature, arithmetic, it's all there. Very good, very good. Very good. She did her history, Latin, and French, and New Testament. Everything was good. And it says, splendid result, Mrs. something that we can't read, and then it's got splendid mum written at the top. And we also know here, I now know through reading some more letters, that this address is her grandparents. So this is grandma and grandpa who live here, and they are Mr. and Mrs. Salisbury, and they live at this address in Manchester. But Betty is from Liverpool, in a very small part of Liverpool, a little village actually. So there we go. So that's Betty. And then the next bit in 1937, when was this? Yeah, 1937, when she's just done her results, is she receives another letter, and that's the letter that I shall be putting in a video this weekend, because it is very special and inspired me to go down a very interesting path. So that's coming up. So that is the letter from Uncle Johnny, the letter from Uncle John. And that's John Salisbury. So we'll hear all about him. But today I just want to go over here, because now we had a look at this on the last video, the one with the dogs on it. And this is the one that Helen has written into me, and she said, hang on a minute, what if it says this and not what I read out? So that's interesting. So right, so first of all, we had this bill coming in, and I think it is an invoice coming in saying cost of paper hanging at 18 New Street, right, and it's £11.15. Okay, so this is coming into Betty, and it looks like somebody has, maybe a decorator is giving her a bill. But he's also, and I'm saying he because we think it's a suitor, is that to Betty, cost of the wallpaper hanging at 18 New Street, 1 bottle of scotch to be consumed at Erpent, if you can see that, that's the address, that's the house, Erpent, by you and I, not you two. So I thought that said two, you two, meaning maybe she's already got somebody, but we don't think she has. Betty is unmarried at this point. So this, we think, or I think now, is that this is a suitor, and he is inviting. It's quite a familiar thing, isn't it, as well, to be asking somebody to come and consume a bottle of scotch with them. So it also says dinner for 4 at the same address with Mary, Johnny, you and I, followed by a musical evening at 15 Burton Road. So there we are. So I think this could be from her future husband, and we do know that Betty gets married. So that's just to bring you up to speed there, that I think there's a little bit of love and intrigue over wallpaper hanging and bottles of scotch. Oh, what else can I tell you about that? Betty is enjoying parties and bottles of scotch with someone. And then I went through all my other letters and I found this one. So here I've got a rather oversized letter with this giant paper, all vintage, all lovely, nice thin paper, and from somebody who knows how to wield an ink rollerball pen with this rather bold writing. And it says, no date on it, no idea. It says, Dear Betty, herewith your money. I'm sorry I rang off on Friday. I had to go out to London again early. Back Wednesday. Could you possibly come over on Friday night about 6 p.m. and stay over dinner, as I have a dinner party and people staying. I will run you home about 10:30 p.m. Can you let Mummy know if you can manage it? And is there any hope for Sunday morning about 12 noon, as we're having a few people in for drinks? Could you do the ironing? And if any time, rub up the silver and brass. Just rub up, not full polish. And wash door knocker. See you Friday. Love, Mrs. Miller? Not sure. Wow. That's either a letter from an employer or a wind-up from her sister or her mother, but it does look like, because there's an offer of money there, that she is a cleaner or a housekeeper, or this is an employer, because there's only really two people that would probably be bolshy and boss you around like that. It's either an employer or it's a close family member, such as a mum or a grandmother or a sister having a bit of a joke. But I don't think it is. So I think Betty has got a job as a cleaner, cook, bottle washer, and great, that's how she's earning her money. Maybe after the war, maybe in the 50s, maybe her whole life. So that is really, really interesting. It's another little clue to the tapestry that is Betty's life. Ordinary people doing ordinary things, and finding them now. It's an intrigue, and it's fun, and it's fascinating. Very clean the door knocker. Right, we want the door knocker looking good for the dinner party and the drinks. Crumbs. Okay, well, there we go. So that's what she was up to. So when she's not sorting out wallpaper, now let's think. Would she really be hanging wallpaper for somebody? No, she wouldn't. She'd have somebody, wouldn't she? A painter decorator that was going to be doing the papering. So that does sound like it was an invoice from the painter decorator. Or maybe the painter decorator was going to do some work here, and she was just finding out that information, and he was putting in his invoice. Oh, tell her it's £11.50 and let's go and have a drink and a nice dinner out. That could be what happened, in which case I think the author of the original letter, this one offering her whiskey bottles, is in fact Bert. And Bert is Mr. Bert Fosbury. And we know on a future envelope that she becomes Mrs. B. Fosbury. So I think that this is Bert, and he may be the handy dandy wallpaper hanging extraordinaire, whiskey wielding and dance inviting mystery suitor. Could be. What do you think? It could be. It's all very exciting. This is the digital kit of the Imperial Blue from Antonio Makes, and there is a discount of £5 off his digital kit at the moment. You can go to www.antoniomakes.com, where I was able to get this, and he is offering us all £5 off this week because we are enjoying the kit. So just another update as well. I'm ready to send out all of my prizes from last Friday. Thank you all for getting your addresses in. I am still missing two people. So if you are from Texas, could you please have a look at the prize winning video from last Friday? I will put the link on the screen here, and that is where you will find out if you are the winner of the water bottles. So we've got one water bottle unclaimed, and we also have the washi tape unclaimed. So it was somebody from America who won the washi tape, and I have written to you all. There was a little message that went out, so if I haven't heard, if you haven't emailed me in your address this weekend, by Sunday at the latest, I am going to offer the water bottle and the washi tape to others. Okay, so the water spray and the washi tape have not been claimed for the 1,000 subscriber prize draw, so do look at the link and see if it was you. I'm poised to send them. I'm wanting to send everything off at the same time. So if I haven't heard by Sunday, I shall be offering them on Monday in we'll do another little whizaroo and see whose name comes up out of the original people that entered. I'm going to put some buttons on here, but I would like a better background, so I'm just having a look at my scraps. I have got this little bit of offcut of wallpaper here. Pinks all tie in, blues and pinks today, so that's quite nice. So we're just going to cut that down and glue that bit on. It's a bit short, but don't worry, I will come up with another idea to get round that. We just craft our way through things like that. Nothing's a problem, we can always work out something. And so yes, so we had a bit of a saga with the Betty letters, and of course now we've got her perhaps working for somebody. Sounds like she's taking liberties there, asking her to do extra over and above what she should be doing. Would you mind coming a little bit and staying later and doing dinner so that I can enjoy my social life? Well, no. No concern to what you might have going on. Well, there we go. Sort of how it goes, doesn't it? How it went on. And perhaps, you know, it would be thought, well, she should be grateful for the money. Well, maybe she was grateful for the money. Maybe it was a wonderful working relationship, and yep, she did a better housekeeping, and perhaps she wasn't married and she didn't have a family to look after, so she could, at a drop of a hat, be around at, you know, in the night time and coming home at 10:30. Well, you can't do that if you've got children, so I would say that she probably didn't. So maybe this is all around the time of before she's got married. We do know she gets married to Bert. So Bert is her husband, and they are a very, very lovely couple because they do lots of things. They are people that they don't mind to be put upon, shall we say. They have taken children under their wing, and Bert and Betty end up being foster parents. I will just have a little bit there because you can see through. So I've used Fabri-tac because it's a stronger wallpaper. And it's funny we're talking about the wallpaper and then I'm using it because that's what we think Bert might have done. He could have been a handy man decorating. Now, if you think after the war, well, he probably had to go and do things for the war effort. And so coming back and doing odd jobs, being a painter and decorator was a solid sort of line of work, really. So I think they did what they could, those two, and made it work. But these are ordinary people living in ordinary places, living in a little hamlet or a little town. It does have a train station. It's got a church, and it's got, she gets about by bus. There's letters there saying that she uses the bus, and I'll cover the cost of your bus ticket. Well, I've heard that being mentioned in one of the letters. So that's how she gets around. And she visits people, and she has people come round to hers, and everybody sort of remarks on what a good tea she puts on. Putting on a good tea does not necessarily mean making a cup of tea. So if you make a good cup of tea, or you make a good tea, that may suggest that you're just making a drink of tea. Like this. I make a good cup of tea. Oh, lovely. Putting on a good tea means there's food involved. So that will be sandwich, maybe a piece of cake. And then, that's worth coming round for. So there's letters where friends have popped round, and she's really, really made time to listen to them. And they've come away sending letters of thanks to her for listening to their problems and enjoying the tea. Okay, that's looking a little bit more. What I'm going to put something in there from my friend, and I think I want to tether that shut, so I might put the Brad in there if we've got the Brad. I've got this here. These are quite modern, shiny ones, but she did end up going on the beach for her wedding. So I've got a shell here. So let's just get this off of the pack and see if it looks any better away from all the others. Because that's a little bit... Oh, that's actually quite nice. Sometimes you just can't see it until you take it away from where it needs to be. All right, well that's peachy pinky, and I like the colour, and I like the fact it's got a shell on it. So I'm going to make a hole in my paper. That doesn't matter because I think I want a pocket there, thinking about it, so I could do. Let's, I'm going to lose my flower, hang on. Or put it a bit further down. Let's have it a bit further down. Go in there. Poke this through. Good, so I've got my brad in. Buttons and yarn we need now. Right, I'm going to introduce you to my button tin. Alright, here she is. This is very special. This has been handed down to me from my my mother, and it was her mother's, and it was her mother's before. It is a family heirloom button tin. Old English treacle toffee. Ah. Modern buttons, vintage buttons, very old buttons, very, very old rusty buttons from old coats, things, the sort of thing that perhaps Betty would have worn. Look at, there's that one. Look, oh, this sort of style. Oh, and look, that's a fancy one. Look at the... Oh, and with the metal. And this one, it even tells you where it's from. 40, or it tells you what it is. An Astor, 44 Astor. Oh, I need 5 of those, please. And then, yep, so there's some real... That's off a good coat because it's got a velvet on it. And that was off a dress because it's polka dots. Anyway, I want just some simple ones. Get lost in here. Get lost in the time travel. Oh, look at that one. No. We've had that one, haven't we? I've had one of those, haven't I? Okay, here are all the buttons that I found. We'll just have a look and see what we think. But I know I like this green one because it looks very nice next to the green of the forget-me-not there, so I'd like that there. And then I think I love that. That looks like it's a special one actually, but perfect for here. This is the treasured page, so you know we put our treasured finds on here, particularly if we're going to keep it ourselves. You can put the special things that only you want in them. So that's that one. Make them make sense and decide whether I want that grey one or whether that one's nice. Yep, so we had a look at all the letters for Betty. We found that there was letters in the 60s. That's when it picked up again with quite a lot of letters, special letters from a lady or a friend, very good friend of hers called Nellie Brown. She called herself Brownie affectionately, and she was definitely part of the whole family's world, and there was lots of... She was definitely a friend, not a relative, but she got them all running around after her in the end. And as she got more and more elderly, she had to go to hospital, but they all helped her and they all visited her. And there was all a little bit of upset with her son, Neville, who was causing problems because he'd moved out of the village, out of the town, out of the area. Not very far away, but, you know, significant, and that didn't go down very well. And so Neville was in trouble. you know, and then there was a lot of letters coming back from other friends going, well, I don't think Neville's visited, and they've got it all in for him, really. But he does visit, because there is letters from Nellie Brown saying that he has visited. So he did actually visit her. And it's funny how people sort of get a little go off someone, isn't it? And then that's not actually a great deal of cause for it. But then they all start moaning about him. Yes, so of course there was that episode with Neville where he had an affair with Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, not an affair. He's married and has a family. But I think he, you know, had a time where he wanted to get involved with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now that caused a massive problem for them all. So there was a few letters about that, which greatly upset Nellie Brown, and oh my goodness. So yeah. Oh, there we go. But that was in the 60s, and yeah, and they all liked birds as well. They all kept birds. So Betty is a lover of birds. She has always kept them. And so does Mrs. Brown. She has a bird called Nelson. So there's a big concern about Nelson's welfare. So of course Betty and Bert, that we now realise is her husband, have to, you know, rally around looking after this parrot or whatever it is. Betty and Bert. There we are. So yes, I've got to tell you about the Uncle Johnny, and that's going to come up, I think, on Sunday, and I shall explain all of that, and I'll show you, you know, why that's been that sort of sparked off, perhaps wanting to do a journal even about it. It's all good fun. So this is some yarn I've got, some fluffy sort of yarn that you might have for a very fluffy jumper or something to do with children. And I just think it's just a scrap end bit. And I wonder whether that went in there. A bit different. Reminds me of a bathroom. The fluffy and the pink. Very vintagey. There is some cards. I've got some old vintage button cards, but they're stickers, and they could live in there. That finishes that off, doesn't it? How about that? There we go. And I've got that edge there now, and the whole thing's blending, tying in, yarn, button and a brad. That's all done. And then I didn't like that, so I'm going to maybe add that on there. Position that on there like that. I don't think it needs anything more other than something to go in there. Just bits from the digital kit. Just writing space, secret writing space, tucked in there, like that. That's that. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to my bizarre little stories from the past of Betty and Bert and all the goings on, and housekeeping and parties, whiskey drinking and wallpaper. I hope you've had fun here today, and do have a listen in over the weekend, and I will enlighten you on the next episode of the Betty and Bert saga, and we can have a look at some other crafts along the way. Above everything else, take care, slow down, and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.